A pleasant good morning. Welcome to a Thank Buddha. It's Friday edition of Mike's Morning Musings, Friday, March 20th, 2026. We always honor the Buddha for this particular Friday and every Friday that we're fortunate enough to be a part of from this point on. Also, spring today, March Madness. How your brackets doing? Mine are busted. Mine are busted. VCU, North Carolina, BYU. Take your pick of upsets from yesterday. But that's not why I am here this morning. I am here this morning to talk about what was a surprise, what was a shock, I think, to those of us who are not on the inside of knowledge or don't have intel. John Hersom stepping away from his head coaching job at Lawrence High School. And let's go back in time, decades, 60 years ago, when Dick McGee was the head coach at Lawrence High School. Then Dick McGee, after about 10 years at Lawrence, decides, and how could you turn it down? He goes to Colby, takes over the Colby College job, and a young coach made a name for himself who took over, a man by the name of Pete Cooper. And wow, what a name he did make for himself in nearly 30 years at Lawrence High School. Now, John Hersom, the son of one of the great coaches in Maine high school football, Doc Hersom, the twin brother of Jim Hersom. John Hersom, 20 great years at Lawrence, all kinds of wins, 5 regional championships, 1 state championship, on a team quarterbacked by his coach, by his son, that is, Jack Hersom. And that's where Jack enters the chat right now, because John Hersom is going to coach on his son Jack's staff at Bangor High School. Jack Hersom was recently named the head coach at Bangor High School. What a great gig for a young coach like Jack Hersom. And John Hersom will join his staff. And why not? John Hersom is 67. His track record is absolutely spotless. He leaves Lawrence in very good shape. And how can you not go in this particular part of your life and coach with your son? It's a dream for both of them. What a cool thing. What a very, very cool thing. One of the great coaches of all time joins his son. So the third generation now of Hersoms. Of course, John and Jim, his twin brothers, father, Doc Hersom, great coach at Edward Little, won all kinds of championships there where his 2 boys played high school football. And John Hersom certainly has left his mark around here. He spent some time at Messalonskee and did a great job at Messalonskee, and now 20 years at Lawrence High School. He moves on. One of the great coaches of all time. And John ran a program that continued the Bulldog tradition of hard work, that gritty work ethic that seems to be present in Fairfield, the culture that was created by Pete Cooper in Fairfield of those farm boys from Albion and Clinton just busting their ass for their coaches. And Lawrence, never pretty, although they certainly did open up their offense some later on, but they stayed with the tried, the true, the tested, the fullback dive, all the stuff that they've run all these years. And John Hersom was great in many, many ways as a head coach at Lawrence High School. And yesterday, when word came down that John Hersom was going to leave, I started getting a whole bunch of texts from people all over the place. People who were in the coaching world, people who were outside the coaching world but keen observers in sports media. One of the text messages I got was this one: Coach Hersom deserves some good things said about him. 45 years of doing the right way every single day with a work ethic and focus that is second to none. Belongs up there in high school football history with Wolfgram, Cooper, and Gabby Price, in my opinion. And I can't disagree with any of that. That's the kind of stuff that I got yesterday. John Hersom is a first ballot Hall of Famer. No question about that. First ballot Hall of Famer. Great coach, a gentleman, a man who ran his program beautifully, a man who is widely respected by everyone in the high school sports, not just football, but the high school sports world as well. So we wish John Hersom well, and certainly the football eyes, the high school football eyes of Maine will be on Bangor High School this fall to see this. I just want to see this happened, the dynamic of Jack Hersom running a game and his father being on his coaching staff. And you know, we've had this before with fathers and sons, and we've had sons become great coaches. Kevin Cooper has gone down to Bonnie Eagle, of course, the son of Pete Cooper, and built a program from scratch that has developed into the greatest high school football program in Maine. You can't deny that. What do they got? 7 gold balls down there at Bonnie Eagle? Kevin Cooper's not coming back to Fairfield, by the way. Somebody sent me a text on that yesterday. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they'll probably stay in house. They have good talent coming back, led by Brady Richards. All kinds of talent. I look at the staff and I see a guy like Pete Curtis on that staff, who's been there nearly 20 years, who's widely respected. I think he'd have to be one of the leading candidates, and the word that I got yesterday is he's already expressed his interest in the job. So there's that. Somebody brought up Jake Rogers coming back to Lawrence. Certainly a name there as well. I can't see them going outside the family, if you will. I think they will stay inside the family, and I think Pete Curtis has to be the leading candidate. But certainly all eyes will be on Bangor just to watch this happen. And I'm delighted for John Hersom. How many chances are you going to get like this to be in good health and be able to go and coach at a school that has a great football tradition? Not lately. Recently, it's been kind of a struggle for Bangor, and Jack Hersom's got some building to do. But hey, it's Bangor. They've got the enrollment in their school. They've got the athletes in their school, and they will come back. And I will bet they come back big time under Jack Hersom. So we move on to day 2 of the tournament today. Let's hope all of our brackets do better. I'm sunk already, but hey, how's that different from any other March Madness in the last 40 or so years? Have a great weekend. I'll see you back here on Monday.